to get back out here at home tomorrow against a really tough, hard-nosed, gritty Providence team who I think's, Ed Cooley's teams, in the past, they've always been a team that's it's about toughness. They're going to rebound the ball. They're going to play really, really hard. They're going to play different defenses. He does a great job putting his team in really good spots on the offensive end. They're a team a lot like us. They want to play paintball, through post-ups, through drives, offensive rebounds. So it's going to be a great challenge for us. Every game's hard here in the Big East, and we're excited to get back out here and play in Cintas tomorrow.
What has the emphasis been on in practice since Villanova and kind of preparing for Providence?
I think, first and foremost, we lost the rebounding war against Villanova 39-35, I believe, or 39-34. It's going to be about a war on the glass. I think that's the biggest key to the game. We've really put another, again, as we always do, a point of emphasis on the rebounding end, but even more so the last couple days. Just trying to get our guys' mindset, ready to go to war, because it's going to be a war against Providence on the glass.
Travis, you talked after the game that you felt like Zach wasn't the right person to do the switching on defense in the second half against Villanova. Is that his foot speed? Is that like just being used to doing that versus maybe the zone?
I thought Zach really struggled in ball screen defense in that game. Early on in the game in the first half, and it led to a couple wide open dunks and layups. And I know fans sometimes wonder, well, what happened on that possession? We showed film to Zach. He's got to get better within our coverage, but Villanova is unique. They really are. They're really good in pick and rolls, and we made that adjustment to switch 1 through 5 probably about halfway through the first half, or maybe even honestly actually towards the end of the first half, and I thought it was the best look that we had, guarding ball screens. I thought against them, putting him on Phil Booth in a switch, it's probably not advantage Xavier. Phil Booth's a special player. They have guards that can really get by you as well as shoot the ball. Zach's foot speed's probably the worst on the team, and he'd probably admit that laterally. Running straight north and south, he's really good, but laterally he's not as good. But we got to find ways to get him out there on the floor. And I met with Zach about it. Just wanted to kind of keep his peace of mind as well, because he was great on the bench. He's a great teammate. The entire second half, he didn't play as much there. He played at the very beginning of the second half, but he was a great teammate the entire time. He's all about winning. But he also wants to be out there on the floor, and I got to figure out ways to get him on the floor more, even in a situation like that. That's the only time it's really happened all year. And I told Zach that, and we got to figure that out, and it's my job moving forward.
So Tyreke had one of his best games in terms of points and I think minutes the most. He couldn't do that a year ago. He just wasn't physically fit enough to play 33 minutes. Where has Tyreke kind of evolved this season so far? What have you seen from him in his growth?
I thought, for the last, 3 or 4 games here in Big East play, I think he's been the Tyreke Jones that I thought we were going to have the whole year. I thought he went through that little lull there towards the very end of the non-conference and kind of during Christmas break and into the first couple games of the Big East. And, we sat down and talked, Shannon. It was, for me, he wasn't practicing. And again, whether it was he had the head injury, whether he was sick. He practiced about 33% of the time during that stretch for about 3 weeks, and I thought his game struggled. You could tell, but now he's fully healthy. He's been practicing, competing every single day. He actually won the gold jersey this past week. Him and Najee Marshall tied for it, but that leads to really good results in the game for him. But it starts in practice, and Tyreke's a guy that can give us that physical presence around the rim, both on the offensive end and defensive end. He should be a double-double guy, and I thought he did a great job. Pascal's a heck of a player. For Villanova, and he made Pascal got by him a couple times, but he's a special player. But he made Pascal work for his points now. I thought Tyreke did a great job showing his ability that he can guard inside and outside. Just with the loss of weight that he had, Matt Jennings did a great job with him all off season, getting his weight down. His mobility has gotten a lot better, and it's always funny to watch film from last year's games and see how big Tyreke was compared to now. It's amazing. But his game is it's different, and it allows him to be a lot quicker, especially on the perimeter defensively.
Yeah, the recurring theme this year is that every team that you play in the Big East has a guy, a star, basically, and Providence is not an exception there. They have Alpha Diallo, and he basically leads them in every statistical category. He leads the Big East in rebounding. So what do you have to do to kind of try to get him out of his rhythm and take advantage of that?
I think number one, Ed Cooley does a great job of putting him in spots. He really does. Alpha's a tremendous paint player. I mean, he was the same way kind of towards the end of last year for those guys. Like you said, he's the leading rebounder in the Big East. You got to keep him off the glass, number one. Number two, they're going to post him a lot. He's 6'6", 6'7", but he has a knack to play down there in the low block, and readiness to defend the post. They love to run. They got a million set plays that they run, and they're great. Ed does a good job. We got to be above him at all times and be ready to play post defense. Be ready to front. It's not good enough to just let him catch it there and then hope that he's going to miss. We got to make his catches really, really tough. So it starts with that readiness. And then I think of the third area would be his drives. He's a really good one-on-one player. He's got a great shot fake. Obviously, he can make threes. I think he's shooting 38 from the three. But he's more drive than he is shot maker. And we have to do a great job of keeping him in front and building walls around him so he sees a really, really tight floor so it's not a one-on-one game.
Who do you think gives you the best chance defensively? Is that a good matchup for Najee?
I think it could be, yeah, absolutely. Najee's one of our better defenders. He's versatile. Najee can defend inside and out. He's got great length. It's a great challenge for Najee. I think we'll have Tyreke on him sometimes as well. I could see Paul Scruggs being on him as well sometimes. I think Paul's tough and physically very strong. So I think you'll see different looks kind of on Alpha Diallo throughout the game.
Last year it seemed like Watson and Young sort of split the post minutes for them, but Watson has taken like a leap, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's a really good player. He hurt us last year in the game in the Garden. He's really good. He was on the All Big East rookie team last year. He actually played AAU with Najee on the same AAU team out of Washington, D.C. He is explosive, man. He had 21, I know, at Marquette. He had 21 at Georgetown. He gives them an interior presence to where they can throw the ball to him, and he can really score the ball and wheel and deal down there. He's a lot more athletic than he looks. He's kind of a real thick kid, strong kid, but he has really good burst. We got to do a really good job, a lot like I said with Alpha Diallo, the post readiness. Our post defense before he catches the ball has to be on point. It needs to be perfect. And just that readiness, when he's around the block, they're going to run all these trick-em plays to try to get him the ball down there, duck-in plays. We have to be above. We have to be ready. Because it's not good enough just to let him catch the ball down there nonstop, because he's too good of an offensive player. But then when he does catch it, because he is going to catch it some, we can't let it be a one-on-one game again. We're going to give him different looks, whether it's trapping in the post, whether it's being two places at once on the post crowd. We got to make it sticky for Nate Watson.
The way PC plays, is it going to be more possible for you maybe to use the big lineup against these guys? I think so.
For sure. Again, a lot of it will depend, Andy. Can we stay out of foul trouble? But yeah, I think it gives us an opportunity to play big and both on the offensive and defensive end, because sometimes it's not always just about matchups defensively. It's about, hey, how can we run our offense too? And I think then we can do both. I think in this game for sure.
I think PC's 1-4 in the league. If they're number 10 in the league, it's a heck of a league, I guess.
Yeah, it just shows like every game's close. A lot of games can go either way. Like they lost a double overtime game. Yeah. Georgetown hit 2 shots basically at the buzzer to get that one into double overtime where they won it. There's a lot. There's games can go either way, and they're a coin flip. And being able to execute down the stretch, special situations, critical. We're doing that every day right now. I told our team about a week ago, we're going to be in 1 million close games this year, and we got to be able to execute in that last 4-minute war. We got to be able to execute. We got to be able to make our free throws, and then keep them off the line as well as best as we possibly can.